Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Wrestle Rewind. I'm your host, Tommy T, joined as always by my co-hosts, Double K, A-Man, and Smokey Z. Today is August the 15th, 2019, and we are going to be focusing this entire... I mean, we haven't even been on air 30 seconds yet, and you two have already started.
Actually, it has been
Trust me,
seconds.
when I call you a BS,
So-
it's not my best friend.
That's a word we can't say. So...
Yes, we can.
No, we cannot say that word.
It's an actual product that you can purchase.
No. The first word in that product we cannot say. That is on the list of the FCC violations.
It's only bad if you make it bad.
So, well, I'm pretty sure that one's bad because I don't see how it would involve any of us in this room and be good.
Hey.
Our added technology coming for the evening. So, guys, exciting weekend that we came out of. We had NXT Takeover Toronto that we got to see on Saturday night, and then SummerSlam following it. And just right off the bat, I'm going to say that this was the best weekend of WWE programming in a very long time.
I would
Agreed.
say
Yeah.
the best 4-day stretch.
Yeah,
I've had
absolutely.
in a long time.
It's almost like I felt the tide turn with this past weekend. Like, we finally started to see some ground being gained by WWE when you can see this new direction that they're headed in as an organization. So, I know that, Double K, you said that, I know you were out of town for the weekend, so you did not get to see TakeOver.
I did not.
Smokey, did you get a chance to see it?
I did not.
So, man, you and I are in this conversation.
He was shopping for air fresheners.
So,
They have this really
That's,
nice one that has beads. it looks like.
It's about that long, right?
I think so.
Goes large,
Oh.
large to small,
Exactly,
right?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
and
yeah.
twist.
you know,
It's like a
And it
spiral.
spirals, yeah.
Like the staircases.
I get it.
there are some things
I get it.
that, Nico, do you have the ability over there to block a user from making comments? Because if you do, I believe Jason Mitchell needs to be blocked from being able to comment for the rest of tonight's episode.
Absolutely not. You know
No,
what?
no.
You know what?
That's not.
What happened?
It's
What-
not
what's the
something.
He suggested
I'm
since
I just want to delete comments. Just
he suggested that since it is Tommy T's birthday, that he thinks we should sing "Happy Birthday" to TM Punk tonight. You guys ready to sing "Happy Birthday" to TM Punk? Are we ready? Nico, you ready? We're singing 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear TM Punk. Happy birthday to you.
I don't think I've ever wanted to change my initials so much in my life as I do now.
Oh,
Oh, that's not good.
great.
Buddy, you should be proud.
right.
So
One of the longest reigning champs ever.
That's true.
Anyways, back to more valid points. Let's talk about TakeOver.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
he said he loves you.
TakeOver, as always, to me, outshined the weekend. Even though SummerSlam was a great pay-per-view, I still felt like TakeOver took the cake as far as overall quality. I do want to go ahead and talk briefly, though, about the fact that we all made predictions on TakeOver last week, and not a single one of them came true.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them, except for the Mia Yim match. That was it.
What do you mean none of our predictions came true?
So we talked about the different matches and who was going to win,
Yeah.
where the titles were going to go.
They didn't.
None of the titles moved.
You may have changed your pick for Saturday,
Oh,
but
yeah.
on the show
Yeah.
we made.
We all talked about the fact that we felt like almost every title was going to change hands. We felt like it was time. We all agreed that it was time for Velveteen Dream to let go.
Yeah, I thought Pete Dunne was going to take that.
Yeah.
I thought I picked Roderick Strong, but
Yeah, I don't know.
we were all wrong.
We were all wrong. But in true NXT fashion, it was still an outstanding show. without any doubt.
I still got to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Well, and you're missing out. I mean, you really are. It was
Oh, I'm sure. I wanted to see it, but
a great show. And in my opinion, as of this particular moment in time, I would be willing to say that the match of the year candidate that was in lead position for 2019 is Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 falls, Takeover Toronto. That match would rival any main roster match for the match of the year for 2019 so far.
Yeah, but me personally, I kind of enjoyed their match in New York better. Their 2 out of 3 falls match in New York better.
is that because you were there?
And that's what I was thinking about. Like, am I
You
just
were
biased?
caught up in the emotion and
Am I-
everything of being there?
So that may have a little bit of something to do with it. But
Something to do with it?
Yeah, but I think the reason I enjoyed the match in Toronto as much as I did was the finish in that last fall, the stipulation with that match, because that cage,
Oh, yeah.
man, y'all, you got to go back and see it.
Well, I plan on it. Radford,
But-
Virginia doesn't really have a lot of good reception for anything down there.
Oh.
So
I'm sure. But yeah, it was great. They never disappoint
No.
at all.
Well, let's go ahead and kind of talk about this. You and I will be able to speak on it a little better, amen, than the other two that are in the room. The Street Profits match, not the best tag team match that I've seen them in, but there were a lot of really great spots in that match, as NXT does well with any... NXT does with any of its tag team matches. They've found a way to get really good at putting key spots into their tag team matches. So I didn't feel like it was the Street Profits' best performance, or the same for the Undisputed Era, but I still thought it was a great match overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Street Profits really showed up Saturday, but the moment that stuck out to me the most was Montez Ford's frog splash.
Oh, yeah.
The height.
Yeah, he went full frog, double K.
Like,
Yes.
did he go full frog or did he go full frog?
It was full frog.
Okay, like full on frog.
There's no hesitation. It was full frog.
That wasn't hesitation. That was finding the right words that day.
I still
And
don't.
apparently the right word was frog.
He was still questioning it, the full...
You know, I needed
Frog?
to make sure.
So, yeah,
But I'm interested to see where Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish go, and I guess Undisputed Era in a whole, because Adam Cole is the only one who has a title.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to see if they continue to stay as a faction, which I kind of hope they do, or if they kind of pull a shocker and maybe turn on Adam. I don't know.
So-
or, just a possibility.
We talked last week a little bit about the possibility of NXT or of the Undisputed Era moving up to the main roster. Mm-hmm. I made the statement that I think they go collectively. You said that they wouldn't. So is this a pitch in that direction?
Did I say that?
Yes.
I thought I said that they would go up as a faction because they could fight against,
I think she did say that.
OC.
The New Day?
The
Did
OC.
she?
I think she was saying
Yeah.
they
Because
go with the faction.
Yeah.
So is this, regardless, is this now a point where we get to see Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish go up,
Well, and that's what I'm. That's
and
what I'm
Adam Cole
wondering.
stays in NXT?
Since Adam Cole's the only one who kept a title or has
Well,
a title, does that
in-
mean anything?
Well, but let's be real. I don't know about you guys, but the tag team division overall is getting kind of stale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
It needs new faces.
Yeah, I think the tag division cycles every year and a half to
Sure.
2 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's really great, and then it's really great because it's the same people. But then it just, like you said, it gets stale because for the exact same reason it become great, it's the same people, and they don't really do anything different.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's this is an opportunity, I think, for them to introduce new faces, whether it's to SmackDown or Raw. Either way, I think you're going to add a little bit of value if you bring those guys up and give them a chance, because both of them are hella performers. I mean,
Yeah.
in that same token, I don't know that there's many NXT superstars there that aren't a hell of a performer.
It's just so crazy.
So, but let's move on to the next match of the night, which was the Io Shirai and Candice LeRae match. Any surprises here for you, man?
Yes. I thought Candice LeRae really put on a great performance.
I think it was her best in-ring performance that we have
Yeah.
seen from her in her time in NXT.
And I love heel Io Shirai. I think that version of her character is fitting for her at this time. So it's just great. I'm digging it.
So
it was a good match.
It
Really
was.
good match.
This one was the surprise for me. I really thought this was the opportunity for them to drop the belt off of Velveteen Dream and let him go up to the main roster. That's not what we got. We got Velveteen Dream retaining here.
Yeah, like I said.
This match was probably only a quarter of a star worse than the main event.
Okay.
Well,
right.
how many stars do you give the main event?
5.
Okay.
All 5.
Okay. Wow, so you... I would give maybe 3 stars.
Really?
On the main event?
No, for the Velveteen, Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong.
It wasn't as impactful as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, there was just something, I don't know what it was. There was just something missing. And I don't think, and I love Velveteen Dream, but I don't think it was his best performance either at a TakeOver.
I feel like the last match I saw him wrestle was kind of eh.
So here's what I think we're starting to see out of Velveteen Dream is he's kind of done everything that he can do in NXT. And so now, as this conversation evolves and Velveteen Dream in the main event picture evolves, this match, I think, was more focused on the two opponents of Velveteen Dream, not him. Velveteen Dream has been showcased time and time again. He has remarkable talent. We know that about him. So I think what we're starting to see now is him taking the back seat to allow to put over the talent of other people.
And that's why I'm surprised Pete Dunne didn't, or I guess I should say I'm surprised Velveteen retained the title. Again, I'm happy he did because I'm a big fan of him, but I expected them to put it on Pete because ever since he lost the United Kingdom title to Walter, he just lost that feeling about him. Because when he came out, he was it was going to be like a tough, what type of match.
Yeah.
And ever since he lost that title, he's just kind of fallen down a little bit. So
it is kind of.
It's just So I thought maybe if they give him this title, it could maybe spark him up. But I don't know. It's just weird. And I'm curious to see where he goes from here on out.
It will be interesting to see what happens. I think it's interesting to see wherever the North Atlantic Championship or the North American Championship, where that whole picture goes from here. I think is going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
But nevertheless, one of our watchers said that, in his opinion, it was the match of the night.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it wasn't a bad match at all. But I've definitely seen matches
another one of our viewers, the question from him is, how do you think his character will translate to the main roster?
I think he's going to be like an Elias. I think he's going to shine even brighter on the main roster. If they don't screw it up from the beginning.
Velveteen Dream, if done correctly, and I say correctly like in the hands of Paul Heyman,
yes,
is without a question the future of the WWE.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think they've got to leave him alone as is and grow from where he is.
Absolutely. Don't force him to change. Don't change his damn name when he gets
if
there.
If he comes in and...
What are you going to call him? The Dream?
Oh, that's what I was about to say. Or just Velveteen.
We already had one of those.
Yeah, you can't just call him Dream.
Well, and you can't call him Velveteen. That just doesn't
so
sound appropriate.
He may just,
I mean,
so
what was wrong with War Raiders?
I agree. I'm with you 100%.
I think it was the word war with them.
It was War Raiders being portrayed on WWE's main program. The sponsors felt some kind of way about that particular word.
Yeah.
Stupid.
So the PC era is awful. So the Velveteen Dream, in reality, at least in my opinion, so Velveteen Dream is a mixture of The Rock. He's combined with Rick Rude.
I was going to say Rick Rude.
So The Rock, Rick Rude, but the arrogance of a Steve Austin. The guy has it.
Well, I think he's
and
the total
everything
package for
about
sure.
it. So his ability to perform in the ring, his ability to sell, his ability to talk, his ability... I mean, name one other person in modern WWE times that has a character that is 100% believable because he even carries the facial expressions to match the emotions. I cannot name another one on the main roster. I can't name another one in WWE that has the ability that this kid has.
No. Well, and that's what I'm saying. I think if he comes up, or when he comes up, because inevitably he's going to, they can't water him down. They've got to let him be who he is right now, and again, grow from there.
Who did you say he reminded you of?
He's a mixture of The Rock, Rick Rude, and Austin.
See, as you were saying that, I was like, there's just someone that's screaming to me, and I couldn't think of it. And he reminds me of the early DX era time of Shawn Michaels. Just that flamboyant.
Okay,
no,
give
dude,
a what,
that's spot on.
you know, just everything about it.
Yep, that's spot on. But
So,
and you can just tell with everything that he has done. The remarkable part for me about Velveteen Dream is he has not been doing this that long.
No,
and I was thinking about that too, because he was just in Tough Enough. What? How long ago was that?
4 years?
4, maybe
4?
5?
Yeah,
4 or 5
so
years
that's
ago,
not
yeah.
that long ago. So you got to think he didn't make it there. Then he had to go to the independent scene.
Yeah.
He was in Maryland for a while. I think Maryland with Leo Rush. And
Yep.
Yeah, he was.
it's just-
Maryland Championship Wrestling, I think,
I
is
think
where he
I
hung
think
out
so.
for a while.
Yeah. But it's just, I'm so happy for him. Because he's amazing.
Oh, he is. He is.
He just makes it look so
Well, I
good.
mean, he is this gimmick. Like, I mean, you could tell. You know, we've all seen people through the years, through many years, that have had a gimmick, and it just they stuck with it too long, and it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't work. You know, I feel like he's come right out of the gate, hit the nail on the head with this thing. And,
Just don't screw it up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They can't water it down. They got to keep going.
Yeah. Another comparison.
I like it.
A couple of comments here from our viewers. One was that they see a little bit of Randy Savage in him.
Yeah.
You know, the elbow drop. Clearly, that's where it comes from.
Right.
A local indie wrestling legend has also joined us as a viewer, and that's none other than Damian Wayne. He's one of our viewers tonight, and he mentioned that he sees Dream versus Orton is major money.
Oh my gosh.
That would be that would be awesome.
That would be.
That is a 30 to 45 minute Broadway is what that is. I don't see any other way to describe it.
Can you imagine Velveteen's promos on Randy Orton? I would just love to hear it.
With those ridiculous glasses on too while he's talking.
Yeah.
And Randy
So
would be
great.
just as good to retaliate.
Yeah.
No, but I see.
Right.
Yeah, it would take somebody like Dream because we talk about it from time to time. Sometimes Orton looks bored.
Yeah.
Like I
But if
feel
you
like
hit that
something
nerve,
like
it
that
just
right
gives
there
something, that
would
little-
just it would light a fire back under his ass.
Oh,
and
sure.
get this thing
Sure.
going.
You know
Yeah.
who Velveteen actually reminds me of, though, for real? Jay Lethal, back in TNA.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it.
Yeah. Well, let's move past that match. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Completely came out of left field on this. Shayna Baszler retained the NXT Women's Championship. I'm not sure. I almost think that what they're going for here is she has to hold that belt longer than Asuka did.
You think?
I do, and here's why. Because I don't see what else does Shayna Baszler have to prove in NXT
Well,
than to take that. It won't be the undefeated streak, but it will make her the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion of all time. So she comes to the main roster, and that's one thing she'll have up on Asuka.
Yeah.
So now, not only is she essentially your Ronda Rousey replacement or temporary fill-in, but she is the
You good?
yeah, I'm good.
Glitching?
A little bit. Don't hit me yet, though, because I'm not stuck. But one of the parts that I think about this is interesting is her ability to translate to the main roster, I think, has to come with something. So I feel like the moniker of being able to claim the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion of all time would be a moniker that, one, it's impressive because Asuka held the belt for like over 400 days.
Yeah.
So going past that gives her something that no other female will likely ever surpass.
Well, I mean, it's either that or there's something deeper there that we just don't know. There's got to be, I mean, if it's not that, let's say that's not the reason.
Wouldn't it be cool? Because I was sitting here thinking about like who her next opponent could be. Wouldn't it be maybe cool if she cut a promo next time they do tapings, saying she's, she needs competition, she's tired of, facing the same people, whatever. And then next week just randomly shows up on Raw and SmackDown, attacks whoever, and then defends the NXT title either on the next like main show pay-per-view or one of them goes down to NXT to face her there. I don't know. Just came to my head right there. Because I'm just thinking, like, who else is she going to face in NXT?
Oh, no, I agree.
And the only one I can think of right now is Candice LeRae, but she just lost. They can build her back up.
So,
but
here's another thing.
And what to do with her. Because do you call her up with holding the title still? But
they have to have something up their sleeve.
Well, you got to think Kevin Owens was wrestling Cena while he was still...
Exactly.
I was literally got to bring that up.
So Owens was doing it, so why can't,
Well, but...
Right.
So who's to say that the NXT women's title doesn't get defended on Raw one night?
Right.
Well, it now looks all but certain that NXT is going to go live head-to-head with AEW starting in October on FS1. Yeah. Like, that looks almost all but certain.
Yeah.
You're not happy about that?
No. Well, I'm not happy about it either because one of the listeners here has the same mentality that I have, and that is that NXT going to FS1 means Vince is going to have his hand in it. And so if Vince gets his hands on NXT, I think the product changes.
And not even just that, it's just too much. Like, you're force-feeding us wrestling now because how many hours in 1 week is that of WWE main show products? You have Raw... 3 hours, SmackDown 2 hours, then NXT 2 hours. And that's just your week. And then if it's a pay-per-view weekend, so it's just like less is more. Like, we enjoy NXT because it's an hour show. If you're diehard, you'll go to the network and watch it.
Right.
It's an hour show. We talked before about how they cycle through wrestlers so you don't see everyone. So I just feel like it's going to water their product down, and they don't need to do it.
So I think NXT does one of two things here. I think either NXT comes to FS1 in October and just fails miserably, and they move. Because what's the worst? So here's the beauty of this: if it goes to FS1 and it doesn't do well, worst case scenario, it moves back to the network for 1 hour shows. That's the worst case scenario.
And you go back to having great shows.
Right. I mean that's the worst because NXT is not going to go anywhere. No. So worst case scenario, that's what happens.
I wonder what that means for network subscribers though, because a lot of people say that they just keep the network for NXT, like the weekly shows.
So the other part of this is, what if it does the opposite?
And crushes everyone?
And crushes everyone, including SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
See, that's kind of the way I'm leaning for this to go. I think they're going to come out and knock it out of the park.
I think they would. Go ahead.
Yes,
so if they do great and blow it out of the water, does that make it 3 brands? Do you eventually just make it another brand? Just Raw, SmackDown, and NXT?
Like ECW was back in the day?
Yeah.
I think they kind of already are. It's just not on TV. I think that's how everyone looks at it right now. So I would definitely see that, but it's wrong.
So sometimes you break stuff.
Tommy's glitching.
So I didn't. It's coming. Nope.
Send this to the repair shop.
Yeah. Need you to give that to Nico. Nico, I need you to Nico-fy that. That sounded odd.
It did.
I won't repeat it.
No.
Okay.
Please don't.
So moving on to the main event of NXT Takeover Toronto, the 2 out of 3 falls match. I think NXT spoiled this one because clearly, even before the event started, you could see the cage above the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they announced the fall. The final fall.
William Regal, yeah, he announced it, and which we had talked about that last week on the show, that the only way you were going to be able to hide that would be if he came out and made the announcement at the start of the show.
You got to hide it in plain sight.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. But I think NXT did a really good job with this, as always. Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano, for me, you ready for this? You ready? I'm going to say it. Deep breaths. Johnny Gargano will forever be the gatekeeper.
I knew it was coming.
That's you.
Of
Triple G.
of NXT. And he is the one guy on that roster that I'm 100% okay if he never leaves. Because for
He
me,
doesn't even want to leave.
for me, Johnny Gargano is NXT.
Yeah, he's the one that I would sit here with 100% confidence and say, if he left and went up, so to speak, he would never be the same again.
No.
Ever.
No.
Like,
And we got a taste of that when him and Ciampa went up.
well, because the risks and the things that he takes in NXT would not be allowed, number one. You know, they would cut down on a lot of the things he does, I believe. And two, he's small, so we know Vince doesn't like the smaller guy.
And that's my
Yeah.
concern with Adam Cole.
Yeah, but I mean, Gargano
only
was
concern.
really small. Compared
Adam's
to
a
lot of
little
guys.
bit bigger
Yeah.
than John. He's not a lot
Yeah.
bigger, but he's a little bigger. Adam Cole he's the size of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
that's
Let's
what
take
he
this
is.
take this to the extreme, though. Imagine Gargano versus Strowman.
Oh,
Gargano.
Think
I'll do you one better. Imagine Gargano versus Brock.
right. I mean, it just doesn't work.
That's the one
It
guy
could
he
work.
could German
It
suplex
could work.
literally from corner to corner.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That'd be
that's
pretty sick,
anybody.
though.
He basically does that to everybody as it is now.
Well, and they don't have to jump because Lesnar's strong enough. It's like whether you want to go or not,
You're going.
You're going.
You're going.
You're going.
Yeah.
Lesnar's going to do what Lesnar wants to do. It just, there's an interesting interview out there with that Roman Reigns did after one of his 45 matches with Brock Lesnar, and somebody asked him about selling for Brock Lesnar, and Reigns' response was, "Well, it doesn't matter whether or not you sell because Brock's going to do what Brock does."
Yeah. He's going to pick you up. He's going to throw you.
Yeah.
He's gonna
you
land.
don't have to sell it.
No.
No, you don't have to
it.
sell for him. Just all you got to do is just take it.
Yeah, and I still think back to SummerSlam of 2013 when the first time we saw this Brock Lesnar. Because if you think about it, when Brock came back in 2011, he was different than what we have now. Mm-hmm. But when he got that belt back at SummerSlam, that's when we saw this new Brock Lesnar, where he literally it was, going back, if you get the chance, go back and watch that match, and it's almost uncomfortable.
I mean,
That he threw Cena around like a rag doll.
Cena's
It was
a big dude.
Yeah, it was almost
255.
it was
somewhere in there,
almost
yeah.
uncomfortable to go back and watch that
Can you
match.
imagine being Cena, though?
Can you imagine
Well,
being
no.
any of these guys?
17 German suplexes is
Yeah.
how many he took in that match. 17.
Do you think they talked that before going out there?
I don't
By
think
the way, I'm
Cena
a
knew where he
suplex you.
was at
I
the
think
end of
part of that
match.
conversation, or actually, the majority of that conversation was like, "Look, you're going to take a lot of these. Get ready." And then, boom, they go.
I'm going to push her in.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the way that conversation probably went.
And, well, that's the way the match went. Whether whether the damn conversation went that way or not, that is how the match went.
Yeah. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for NXT Takeover Toronto. A great show as always. NXT puts on a hell of a show every single night. That the cameras turn on, and those guys deserve a tremendous amount of credit for what they do.
Definitely.
So we're gonna move on
Thanks.
to the main event of the weekend, SummerSlam 2019, and for the first time in a long time, this is a WWE pay-per-view where they did every single thing right. It wasn't perfect, but they did it right.
I can't really disagree. But I'm still thinking on it. Give me a minute.
Was there a match on the card that disappointed you?
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
Hey, man, what was the match that disappointed you?
And it was just because of the finish, Kofi and
Yes.
Orton.
Yes.
I'm okay with not having a pin or a decisive winner. I would have preferred a disqualification and not a double count out. Something. we're having, because if you want Kofi to snap, have Kofi snap and then get disqualified.
Well, I think that part of
Or
that,
something like that.
yeah, part
Yeah.
of that for me was I didn't understand.
I don't even remember the ref counting though.
And that was the thing too,
Hey,
like,
you got your first hashtag, by the way.
Yeah, hashtag gatekeeper.
Did they put the 3 G's in front of it?
No, just one G.
Oh.
That's right. No, that's the back.
the gatekeeper.
So,
Good.
Yeah, and no, and there was confusion with the live audience as well because they didn't know what happened. They just heard the bell, and that's why they were chanting BS because they didn't know what happened. Or I was listening to, I think, Busted Open, and they had mentioned that.
Yeah,
So it's just,
I mean,
but I mean, it wasn't even a major thing, and I think that shows how good the show was. That's really
Yeah.
our only complaint.
Yeah.
and the
know?
match was good.
The match
Yeah.
was great. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so what match did you have? One that disappointed you, Smokey?
that one.
Okay.
Just because I don't remember seeing the ref counting.
And that's
No,
what I'm
I
saying,
don't
yeah.
recall
and
that
the next
either.
thing we know, the bell was
Yeah,
ringing. I was
no,
like, wait.
so I guess it's a two-part answer. So the match itself did not disappoint.
No, it's
Right.
the ending.
But
the
the
ending
ending.
disappointed.
And I like that it's continuing because they can really go with this story. So
Yeah,
Oh, I don't think this feud ends till Hell in a Cell.
no.
I'm down with that.
That's
what
when I.
October.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see it in a Hell in a Cell match?
No, I don't see that in a Hell in a Cell match. But I'll tell you what I do see in a Hell in a Cell match, and I don't know who it's going to be against.
Bray
But I
Wyatt?
definitely see the Fiend
Yeah.
inside of a Hell in a Cell in October. Hopefully, it's just not red.
Oh, that was terrible.
Oh,
At least just make it black.
Couldn't see it.
Make it black.
Just leave it alone.
Just
leave it like
leave
it's
it,
always
yeah.
been.
Well, in reality, in reality, I don't think it looked any worse than the red. I mean, than the silver. I think what made it odd for everybody was we were used to the silver. So because you think that
and it's so big.
the metal,
Again,
so
It's a. Never mind.
it's very extensive.
I was gonna say maybe it's part of Vince's extensive package.
But the more and more like
point to what I was about to say.
the more and
I
more
don't really disagree with Jason Mitchell here either, though.
the Bailey and Ember
Yeah,
match.
I wasn't.
Oh, I forgot.
I
about
wasn't
that, yeah.
overly thrilled with that. So
Yeah, but there's a match that I thought that was more disappointing than that one.
wow, we were talking about they did everything right, and now we're picking
Right.
it apart.
No,
No, I'm not picking it apart.
I
I
didn't see
think it
you.
was a great card. I think it was a great night.
What is it?
But for me, the most disappointing match on this card was Becky Lynch versus Natalya.
What? Why?
Ashley's ready to fight.
Yeah, why?
The match didn't for two folks that I think are as talented as they are. I think their performance was lackluster.
I
It
can
wasn't.
see it.
It wasn't a terrible match, and I'm not saying that it was. But if I'm comparing it to the quality of every other match on this card, that match for me was the most disappointing. Because those are two performers that I expected to come out there and tear the house down,
So you think
and
that,
they didn't.
that match was worse than Bailey and
Yeah.
Moon?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's.
And I think it's too. I think it. Some of that too, though, is not the performers, and it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with I think this was a bad match.
I think what surprised me most about
It-
that
it-
match is the support behind Becky Lynch. I was shocked when her music hit, and the majority, I would say probably 60-70% of the crowd cheered for her.
Well,
and it
did
was
you
split.
did you see Monday night when Sasha came back and beat Natty down?
And they were saying, "Thank you, Sasha."
the crowd started a "Thank you, Sasha"
yeah.
chant.
And when
I
they
mean, when Natalia's music hit on Sunday, most of
were,
them
and I
started
think that's
booing.
probably why Tommy may be a little disappointed as well because you expected the hometown hero. Oh God.
No, you're good.
You're
Continue.
fine.
It had nothing to do with you.
Look, everything doesn't revolve around you.
No,
all right?
that's fine, but I would.
No, we're
it
good.
could be
It's all good. It's all good. We
multitude of
we have been notified that a small child that is watching our show has chosen to watch us over Barney movies.
Aw.
Awesome.
Dude, I used
Right?
to love Barney too.
That's a
so
win
that's
right there.
awesome,
That's
yeah.
a big win right there. Thanks, Harvey.
That's right. But so I just this is not the performer's fault. It's WWE's booking's fault because you put Natalya in this match because of where the pay-per-view was located.
Right.
That's why she was in it. There wasn't much of a storyline behind it. there was no emotional value in the match.
But there could have been, and
I
that's
agree,
what blows my mind.
but there wasn't. And so for me,
and
like
that's
when
not
that
WWE's fault, though. For me, I am surprised. I'm disappointed in this match because I was expecting the crowd to be 100% behind Natalya, and it to be you didn't.
I didn't know just because I don't think Natalya has any sort of it factor anymore. Like
So
I think it's all gone. I think she came into that match kind of like a novelty act just because of where it was. She got the sympathy match for the title, which she wasn't ever going to win that title. It wasn't going to happen.
I kind of thought she was at one point.
In my opinion, with all the new female wrestlers and everything, Natalya's just really stiff compared to the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, she is. I just, like I said, I just think her gimmick is stale. I'm going to steal your word from earlier. It's just stale, and I don't think she has anything anymore that makes people say, wow, this is going to sound really harsh, and I don't mean it to. But I think everybody's sympathy for her dad passing and
over.
is done. I think they've milked that as
They
far
were
as they.
chanting boring when she
Well,
was
they've milked that
giving
as
her
far as they
speech.
can milk it. That's what I'm saying. Everybody knows. You know what?
Can't believe it.
It happened. It sucks that it happened. It was a horrible thing. But there's other than that, what else could they use to get Natty over at this point? She's a great wrestler. She's a great performer. Technically, she's on point. But that's not what.
Sometimes you just need.
That's
a change.
not what the universe is looking for anymore. So they could have a great technical match going on right before their face.
here's the failed
Not
avenue.
realize it.
Here's the failed avenue for this entire match. So I'm going to challenge all three of you. Name one time that she was relevant in the past 2 years.
Who? Natalya?
Natalia.
When
When
did she have
Ronda
the
Rousey was here.
Yeah,
last
when
year.
Ronda-
Was she relevant, or was she just relevant because of Ronda?
Well, you didn't say all that.
Well, yeah,
you said
you
when was she relevant?
As a single performer
Oh,
on a
well.
card,
There you go.
Well, now we
when
have
was
the full-
she
Well, see, that's a completely
relevant?
different question now.
Right.
That's
Well,
like
it
a
is.
guy in the
I couldn't tell
corner
you.
with the WWE shirt.
Right, that's my point. That's
didn't
my
get it. You're
point.
just agreeing because you got to ride in
No.
the car with him for 8
I
hours.
knew what he meant when he
She
said it.
she has not been relevant. If you take her
I
out-
agree with you.
I mean, the biggest news that came out of WrestleMania with her in it was the fact that she let her uncle get tackled during the Hall of Fame.
I don't think she had a lot of options.
Okay.
I don't mean that negatively at her. I don't mean that in that direction, but that was what she was known the most for coming out of WrestleMania weekend. So, you guys can continue the conversation.
No, I'm reading the comment, and I'm trying to figure out how to. So I'm going to need this particular viewer. Kevin, what do you mean Natty's the female version of Dolph? Clarify that for me.
Oh.
I think I know what you mean, but just clarify that.
I don't think to answer.
It should have been her.
I'm not sure you can make enough flashcards to cover all this information. But
There's a lot. There's a lot of
yeah,
information.
I don't.
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, that's
All
what I
right.
thought he meant.
All
I
right.
just wanted to
Read
make
the
sure.
comments,
So-
Snooki Z.
So
It'd be
Kevin,
great to be involved.
well, we read you the comments. So hold on,
Well, I
time
mean-
out. We're going to pause for just a moment. You had control of this until you couldn't figure it out, which is when it came over to the two
That's
of
true.
us.
That's right.
I
And
didn't
you
know.
can't. And you can't.
No,
even
no,
read
there's no arguing. That's
Let's
what
just
happened.
clarify.
That's what
He handed it
happened.
to me. I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? And then you guys are like, oh, just give it here.
But
I
then-
didn't know what I was like. Are you just? Am I passing it to someone? Am I supposed to be working this little thing? What am I doing?
So, can you repeat that last sentence for me again?
No, because
We're not talking about a Taco Bell menu here.
She was struggling to work that little thing.
that's why I
So
thought.
She needs the Grande Taco Loco.
this show goes straight to hell sometimes. Anyways,
That's our new hashtag.
one of the I agree. So Kevin's comment that
Yeah.
Chris was asking about was he made the statement that Natty is the female version of Dolph,
Got that.
and then the clarification was because she puts others over.
100%.
Yeah, that's
she's-
spot on.
she is a glorified enhancement talent.
Absolutely.
Um,
Here's a question about Natty. Is she a Hall of Famer?
no.
You don't think so?
I would say yes.
So if she gets into the Hall of Fame, it's
I
because of
think
her
so.
family
I would
heritage.
I didn't
No,
say
I
why.
would say yes
I
because
think-
of what she does behind the scenes. She is when a new person comes in, for instance, a Ronda Rousey, they send her to the PC with Natalya.
Yep.
She
Okay.
is the backbone of the women's
enough.
division. Yes, you
I
don't
can
see
I can
it
get on board.
screen.
Yeah, but I can get on board with that.
Yeah, and when she's done in the ring, she's going to be a great producer or
I agree.
agent in the back. I think
I
that's
can-
where
I
she
can get
will
on board
shine.
with that.
So, I think that's why.
Okay. I would support that.
So,
Let's talk about that. Yes.
Yes, we did.
You know, some comments I just can't respond to on the air. But, yeah. Yeah, and anyways. When
He's
we always realize.
he's glitching over here.
some of these I can't repeat, but what was
I see it.
your match of the night?
Oh,
What was your match of the night?
it's hard because I know what I was excited for the most, which I'm sure we all.
Yeah, I
have
think
the
we're
same
all going
answer
the
for
same
that.
route there. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say the match of the night for me was Brock and Seth.
Okay. Which I think those two guys put on a hell of a show to end the match in the night.
Have y'all seen the clip where it shows the reaction Seth got when he first came out, and then his reaction after the match? Oh man, it's so crazy to see. So when he comes out, a sea of boos, everyone's crapping on him. When he wins, like when the referee's counting 1, 2, 3, everyone's counting along with the ref.
Oh yeah.
When he hits the 3 count, everyone just goes crazy cheering for Seth, and that's why Seth starts crying. It's just the psychology and how they worked that match and the story they told just is what Seth needed.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I think if he would have lost, he just would have.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have a babyface go out there and guarantee something and then not deliver.
No.
If you're going to take them seriously.
And the interesting part about this, and it may be the unpopular opinion, it may not be, but this shows that Brock Lesnar still had the ability to go out there and put on a hell of a match.
And the thing that I was wondering about was, did they really need to take the title off of Seth to tell the same story? Could it have just been Brock shows up every week, destroys Seth, but Seth is still the champion and he still has to prove
I
himself?
think it added just a little bit to it. Cause
I think it did too, but did they necessarily have to
like
do
the
it?
thing we were talking about earlier today, for that to have happened, it was a little bit historical. I mean, there's only 3 guys ever that have beaten Brock twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's true.
Do you know who they are?
I remember seeing the list, so I know it's...
I can tell you.
Well, I sent it.
We
to
know
y'all.
you can.
I sent it to you guys.
I know it's Cena, Seth.
Nope.
Cena's...
Cena is not on it. Hang on a minute.
Well, Goldberg's beat him twice.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kurt, Seth, and Goldberg.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You sure Cena hasn't beaten him twice?
100%.
Okay, all right. I feel like he has.
Well,
But
damn it, you're wrong.
well, I know. I know. It's not the first time in my life. But I agree
with that
100%. One of our viewers
Yes.
made the comment of Charlotte and Trish surprised them
Oh,
without
yeah.
a doubt.
Where is that?
You know
Trish.
what? That was the best surprise of the night.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I did not expect
delivered.
Trish to go out
She
there
did, yeah.
and have, I mean, what was that? That was a
1640.
almost a 20-minute match.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
She did so well.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was.
So-
So
yeah.
well.
She still looked great
Yeah.
for her age to be able to, and lack of in-ring work.
Well, I was going to say it's not so much the age; it's just the lack of being in the ring.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
That'd be like us putting you out there.
I'm not that damn old. But, anyways, for me, my actual favorite match of the night, if I'm 100% real about it, it was the Goldberg Dolph match. And the reason why
Dolph Diggler
was because it was absolutely because of everything about the way they did that match was right.
Yeah.
Every single bit of it.
See, I feel that way about the Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor match.
But for me, that wasn't like a match. That was my favorite moment
That was
of
my
the
favorite
night.
part of the night,
Yes.
by far.
They hit that right on the head.
So, yeah, I mean, it was absolutely a match that needed. It was absolutely a match that needed.
I don't know why that was so funny.
It didn't need a storyline for it to be great. And exactly what we talked about last week, it was an opportunity for Goldberg to show. It was an opportunity for Goldberg to regain that mantra.
Well, I mean, we talk about it a lot. I think Ziggler, to me, right now, is, if not the best, he is definitely top 3 in-ring performers in the game today.
Dolph Ziggler?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I'm talking about not just WWE. I'm talking about across the damn board. I think he's at worst top 3 in-ring performer across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you see him in a match, you know it's going to be.
You're going to get a show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, but
Doesn't even matter who it's against.
who better to put in there to take after the debacle with Goldberg and Undertaker? Who better to put in there with Goldberg to sell those spears to, I mean, it couldn't have been, I don't think there could have been anybody any better.
Right.
So, how do we feel about the Kevin Owens Shane McMahon match?
It's still going. I thought maybe, just maybe, we would be able to move on past it.
It is still going.
It's still going, so we're still going to be dealing with it. Both guys put on a hell of a show. I mean, it's not the fact that they put on a bad show or it's not worth watching, but it's still going. It didn't. There was no climax. There was no end. Like here, we started all over again with the exact same thing on Tuesday.
You think it's because they don't really have anything else for Kevin to do?
No, I think.
It's like a Shane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the consensus right there. But I think they're really trying to turn Kevin into Stone Cold. And they're really trying to turn Shane into his dad. And I think they're trying to recreate that entire storyline.
I don't think you can.
I don't know what's going on over here.
So,
He's stuck.
no, I'm not stuck.
His head was awfully red, though.
His
comb was red. I might need to move.
I was disappointed in the AJ Styles Ricochet match.
Yeah.
I thought it was good, but it wasn't.
There wasn't nothing like.
What did you do?
But I felt like AJ Styles having that belt doesn't do anything for him.
No.
Besides the fact that him and Luke, besides the fact that him and the OC has all of the gold,
Same as
gold and silver, but
Same thing.
Same
Straps.
as
They have
the
all
New
the
Day.
straps.
yes,
I think they're setting something up there.
New Day and the OC.
I do.
maybe.
I do. I
Maybe.
feel like something at some point is going to happen there.
I think,
Survivor Series.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. I
Okay.
think both factions have all the titles for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tag team and single title.
Okay, maybe I could see that.
Like Survivor Series
They're going
makes
to need
sense.
something for
That's a
Survivor
good call.
Series. With
But
everyone
like I said,
being
I
on
just-
every show now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had a 6-man match not long ago. I can't remember if it was on Raw or SmackDown, but
It wasn't a 6-man match. Well, yes, it was, but it was just with 2 of the New Day, and Ricochet was the
but it
third
was a
man.
right. But it was a
Yeah.
match.
God, I hate him.
Hey, to steal a line from the UEW commissioner, you need to act right or get smacked right.
Oh.
So now let's talk about the moment that SummerSlam became the best pay-per-view this year, and that was the debut of The Fiend. And so we're going to go back to my favorite thing, one word, to describe that moment. Smokey?
Amazing.
Amen?
Love.
Double K.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
And that didn't even have to involve Finn. It could have literally been anybody on the roster, and it would have been amazing.
everything about that, though. So we talked for several weeks that we were fearful of what this was going to look like when WWE finally had to deliver the match. We talked about the match not really happening and it being some sort of backstage incident. We talked about it being a squash from the very beginning. We went through several of these things,
I mean, it kind of was a squash match.
but it wasn't. The Finn had some moments.
Some. Not very many.
Yeah, well, he had a flurry kind of right in the middle. Like,
Mick Foley has gone on the record now of saying that the mandible claw is officially one of Bray Wyatt's finishing moves now.
yeah, as I think it should be. I think
Yeah,
it's cool.
it's perfect.
I'm glad that it's not just Sister Abigail anymore.
So,
Like, because that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is also one of the coolest moves that I've
Yeah,
ever
but
seen.
I think just for this new
character.
Yeah.
I think the mandible claw fits way
it's-
better than Sister Abigail.
so.
It's more kind of it's literally in your face, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's more of like an aggressive.
yeah, like it's that take all your pride away
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's one of those things that's kind of hard to put into words.
Takes
Smash mouth.
it's Smash Mouth that takes all your
It
pride.
smashes your mouth.
there are so many moments where I have to ask, who in the hell gave us a set of microphones and lets us talk to people on a regular basis? Because we can't keep our crap together for anything. So, but I remember very vividly that moment on Sunday night when we saw the lights dim out, which I loved the way they did his whole entrance. It starts with the Firefly Funhouse entrance video,
And then it like
and
burns
then it
away.
burns away, and then they move to the Let Him In lyrics on the screen, and that was so well done by everybody in WWE. We try to move past stuff, and the viewers just make it worse. Because A-Man's biggest fan just said she'll smash your mouth with her package.
Did you hear me trying to keep it together?
You know, folks, this is why we do this, though, is we appreciate the interaction that we get. But
Crying over here.
So hot.
It's like a hot taco sauce in here.
Fire.
We're not going to make it through this episode, I'm telling you.
You're supposed to be in shorter show.
yeah, but
My lovely wife is now jumping.
Oh.
She's piling on.
yeah, she's
Package. Me too, Jason. Me too.
So,
Oh my God.
we did not give ourselves microphones. Believe it or not, we were actually asked to do this show.
Don't know why. No idea why.
You may be rethinking.
Yeah.
Right now we're like, oh my
They're
God.
probably like, oh, every week.
Jason, different Jason Koontz. We are laughing at the pride in the extensive package.
That's going to smash your mouth.
Apparently, it's going to smash somebody's mouth.
So, and this whole episode is just shot now.
Well, the listeners are piling on.
Yeah.
Not just
Thanks,
us this
man.
time.
Yeah. It's your fault.
Every week?
Yeah. Every week. It is your fault. Every week.
I don't even know what to say.
If you had
First we
walk
had
up
the
music, would
extensive
it be hammer
package, now we
time?
got
If
smashing
If you had
mouths.
walk up music, would it be hammer time?
No, it'd be taco time.
Orale.
Oh my God.
All right, well, back to the show, folks. It is one of our listeners wants to know,
Oh my God.
was there alcohol involved?
No.
No, and that's the scary. Imagine if
No.
it was.
So,
We'd all probably come.
True.
so how many stars? 5-star ratings. Let's talk about how many stars do we give SummerSlam overall?
4.
4 stars?
Yeah, that's all I
Four?
was going to say 4.
I go 3.5.
3.5?
Because he can't make it to 4. It's scarring.
That's what his father said. So,
That'd be crazy if he was watching this.
that's woo. God bless him. I have no idea where I was even going. Oh, how many stars do you give the debut of The Fiend?
10.
Out of 5?
10.
Yeah, as many stars as I can give them.
Yep.
All the stars in
All
the
of 'em.
world.
The everything about it was perfect. The lights, the music, the entrance.
Yeah, I mean, it was so
He
well
got-
done.
So, do you guys remember what the crowd was chanting?
Holy.
Yeah.
You can say it, remember?
Yeah, well, that's one of the words we can say. But,
Have you ever heard
No.
a chant, holy shit, just for an entrance?
Just for the entrance.
no.
No, I can't say
Shinsuke
that.
Nakamura got a "This is awesome" chant with his first entrance at NXT.
Well, I think everybody was so concerned, though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
For
and
good
as
reason.
we were so very concerned.
Nobody knew what was going to
Yeah.
happen.
But that video clip of just his entrance got almost 1 million views in less than 24
I
hours.
looked at
it
it-
hadn't even been a full 12
I looked at
yet.
it yesterday, and it was at 2.7 million.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
And that's insane. It hasn't even been a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
It was at
So-
2.7 million.
That's crazy.
His merchandise is sold out. This is the best thing that WWE has going right now, in my opinion.
I was
100%.
telling you before we went on air. Before that, in my opinion, Aleister Black had the best entrance.
Oh, yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No, this just again everything about the way they did it was fantastic. The carrying his former head
Oh, yeah.
as a
I
lantern.
was like
Yeah, no, it was all.
icing on the cake right
He
now.
does challenge Taker, though, for the longest entrance now.
I'm okay with it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too. But it's just,
Fair.
when I was watching
It wasn't
back, I
that
was
long,
like,
though.
It was like 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, but Taker
which
takes
isn't
like
long.
8
Taker's
Yeah.
is like
Taker's like 6
10
plus.
minutes at
Yeah.
times.
It may have seemed
So,
a little longer
here's a-
because it was all shock and awe.
Here's
during the whole
a
thing.
here's a
but nobody cares.
a WrestleMania 36 question.
Hopefully.
Does The Fiend retire Taker
Hopefully.
in
Taker.
Tampa?
Hopefully.
I don't think
paper.
I don't
Right.
think there's anybody else that could.
Yeah, that's not for.
Does The Fiend retire Taker in Tampa?
I think they fight at WrestleMania, Fiend beats Taker, Taker comes out on Raw and retires.
If you want to do character versus character,
And then Hall of
absolutely.
Fame next the following year.
Yeah.
Because what we have been saying that since
He
the
can
Undertaker, Bray Wyatt is the best.
He was the best character that they had come out
that
with.
they have.
Yeah, how many
Yeah.
times did
And
we
then
have that
now-
conversation?
Oh, all the
Now
time.
it's
all
even
the time. Weekly,
better.
we would have
Yeah.
that conversation.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our conversation about SummerSlam, folks. We were trying to kind of make this episode a little bit shorter, and I do want to just take a moment to kind of explain to the listeners and viewers as to what our plan is moving forward. One of the things that we are always open to feedback and criticisms, and one of the things that we've talked about as a group is that these episodes tend to drag on and on. Because we have a lot of conversation and a lot of moments where we have fun, and one of our listeners, I'm going to quote him, one of our listeners, Jason Mitchell, said, "For 2 hours a week, you guys take my mind off of real life, so I'm thankful for that."
Aw.
And so,
So sweet.
Jason, you're welcome. And I say
Same.
that
Absolutely.
confidently
Yeah.
for the entire group, that when we were asked to do this show, we actually talked about it for several weeks before I finally bit
Yeah.
into it and said, yeah, we'll do it. And we weren't really sure how it was going to take off, but now with over 500 followers on Facebook, and the folks that listen to us across the multiple platforms of podcasts, and then watching us live every week on Facebook Live, we're very grateful and very thankful for everybody that participates and works hard to put this show together. So, and that goes from the cast here to Nico behind the scenes, and then you guys. The more and more we get input from you, adds to the show and allows us to provide a better program. And so we're looking forward to this as we move forward. So, what is it with me tonight that people are just out to get me?
What happened now?
That
It's
What
that
do I-
shine.
so
Did I miss something?
no.
Okay.
But so.
Then I don't know how to
One-
answer this question.
One of the things that I think is really cool about this show is, for anybody that asks, this literally is what our group is like
Every day.
This is actually a filtered version of what our group is like.
Very much so
filtered.
filtered.
But we are very proud of the diversity that we have within this group and the different folks that participate in it, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I would not rather sit around a table and have this type of discussion than with the three people that I'm sitting at this table with. So I think you
And
guys...
Nico over there.
And Nico, and because he makes us look good. So I'm very grateful for that. Now it is time for us to go on to have the reigning, defending Wrestle Rewind Trivia Champion.
How many times?
Double K is now a 7-time Wrestle Rewind Trivia Champion, sporting the Intercontinental title as our weekly prize. And tonight, once again, Smokey Z and A-Man are going to challenge for the Wrestle Rewind Trivia Championship.
Real quick. What's that chant say right there? Somebody started a chant on the chat.
There is a chant. It's a 3-letter chant. You guys got any guesses as to what that chant is? So
UEW?
it is a UEW chant. Folks, a brand new
That's such
wrestling
an
promotion.
intelligent
That
There we
is
go.
so. We're going to go ahead and get started with Wrestle Rewind Trivia. 15 questions. Whoever has the most points at the end of the 15 questions is our winner. Last week, Smokey Z took the early lead.
Took a great big old ale.
Take this ale. So, we are delighted as always, but the and Jason, I appreciate you appreciate you for sharing my birthday love there. It is appreciated, despite the fact that you gave me a nickname that I'd rather be buried with.
What was it? TM Punk or something like
believe
that?
it was.
Really?
CM Punk.
TM Punk. TM Punk.
Has a good ring.
TM Punk.
I'm taking a separate flight from you from y'all when we go to Tampa because I can't deal with this.
Oh, that's right. We're going to be in the air together.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. These questions are going to be from the late Attitude Era into the Ruthless Aggression Era. For the first 5 questions, they are not multiple choice. And here we go. Question number 1. Who defeated Becky Lynch in her Royal Rumble debut to retain the Divas Championship in 2016? Double K.
Nikki Bella.
That is incorrect.
That's a good guess, though. That's where you were headed? Well, you got to answer because
Can you repeat the
you hit
question?
your buzzer.
Yes, who defeated Becky Lynch in her
Right.
Royal Rumble debut to retain the Divas Championship in 2016?
16.
Smokey Z, you did press your button, so you were obligated
I
to
did.
answer.
We got a timer going over there, Nico?
Yep, Nico's got the timer.
Paige.
That is also incorrect. Amen. You are the last one remaining with 20 seconds on the clock.
Last man standing.
They made their debut in 2016.
Yes.
That's only 3 years ago. Huh? Who's new? Who recently?
And time is up.
That was 3 years ago. So
The superstar was also brought up as an NXT recruit. It was Charlotte Flair.
16. Wow, she's only been. Wow. Okay.
So, question number 2. Who was the first man to challenge for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania?
for the WWE Championship.
Well, WWE, WWF.
Okay.
Oh.
I was going to say, all right, so
Okay.
you were thinking where I was thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so
Who was the first man to challenge for it at WrestleMania?
one of those things you think you would know.
See, the main event, though.
Was the tag team match?
20 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a hint. This superstar's name also contains the name of a creature from a mainstream movie involving a female,
I need to write them.
at which the female was rescued from the top of the Empire State Building. Double K.
King Kong Bundy.
King Kong Bundy is correct.
I was already thinking King Kong Bundy, but that just kind of like...
Question number 3. Who currently holds the
That was close.
record for competing in the most WrestleMania matches in one night? Amen.
Daniel Bryan.
That is incorrect.
Okay. I was really confident.
You were. That was like me and my Nikki Bella answer earlier.
Oh man. Oh.
Your first hint, this superstar is a Hall of Famer who is now deceased and died in a car crash.
Randy Savage.
It was Randy Savage. That is correct.
What did
Question number 4. What was the first match in WrestleMania history to end on a time limit draw?
What was the
Instead
first
of
match in
WrestleMania
WrestleMania history?
In WrestleMania history.
God, let
Amen.
me answer, please.
Shawn Michaels and
That is
Bret Hart.
incorrect.
Okay. Well, I was confident.
Wow.
All right.
Oh, man.
How was
So here's your hint. This match involves 2 WWE Hall of Famers, one of which we mentioned briefly earlier on tonight's show in comparison with Velveteen Dream. The second, his opponent, is a WWE Hall of Famer that was recuperated with DDP's yoga.
Oh.
I've got it. Oh.
27 seconds remaining.
All right, I've hit
Double
my button.
K.
How long do I have to answer?
10 seconds.
Jake Roberts.
Yep.
And Rick Rude.
That is absolutely correct.
I knew the Rick Rude, but I didn't know the other
Hey,
one.
suck it, Smokey.
You can see my button, right?
Yes, I can see
Okay.
your button.
We
I
can
just wanna
also
make
But you
hear
sure.
keep getting the question.
We can
wrong.
also
No,
hear
I
you
know.
elbow dropping it. You're shaking the whole table. Anyway, go ahead.
Which
Oh.
is the only WrestleMania to take place on a Monday?
Oh. Ooh.
Amen.
His hint's going to be at somewhere between 1 and 35.
I know, right?
I've been very
Featured
specific.
a Hall of Famer.
You're getting
I've
better.
been very specific with my hints tonight.
Was
This
it WrestleMania 5?
That is incorrect.
This WrestleMania involved WWF or E superstars.
Right. Oh, no.
I'm just not going to give hints anymore.
Give a hint. You gotta give a hint. Smokey can't count, so I got this
was
one.
it?
Man. It is a single-digit WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 6.
That is incorrect. So 5 and 6 are both off.
I mean, it's a pure.
I don't have a specific hint without giving it away.
It's kind of like you. It's a shot in the dark if I get it right.
You got 5 seconds left.
1.
No, that's incorrect. It was WrestleMania 2. You're
I
close.
get half a point for being closest.
No. Question number 6. Who was the first music group to perform at a WrestleMania?
Do you have to know their name? Can you, like, say what they were doing there?
Calm down, Kabuki.
Kabuki.
Calm down, Kabuki.
Kabuki.
Kid. I need the actual name of the music group.
Actual first group.
Here is your hint. This group's name involves an action followed by 3 initials. Double K.
Run DMC.
That is correct.
Woo! Put another one down there for me.
Double K. Double K has the lead with 4 points. We are on question number 7. Which WWE superstar competed in his first Money in the Bank ladder match at 57 years old? Amen.
Ric Flair.
That is correct. It was
Thank
Ric Flair.
you. It's about time I get 1 point.
All right.
Who turned on Shane McMahon at a Hell in a Cell 2017? Amen.
Sami Zayn.
It is Sami Zayn. That is correct.
I was like, was that at
Did you hear that?
Yeah, because that was when he
It was
pulled...
Sami Zayn.
It was-
Did you hear that? That's like the only superstar that you have like a cutout of in your bedroom. So, who hosted the first episode of Prime Time Wrestling? I mean, Nico, can you start the clock? Thank you.
Can you repeat
Wait,
that?
what? What was the question?
Who hosted the first episode of Prime Time Wrestling? I'm still being glared at. I'm not expecting any of you to get this, so
You want to
and
just
I'll
go to a
leave-
different
Drop a
question?
hint.
that even if I give you a hint, you're not going to get it.
Drop a hint. Let's see. And if nobody gets it,
One of
move
these
on.
individuals is a former governor. Amen.
Jesse the Body Ventura?
And
Huh?
and
Oh, there's 2?
yes.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh,
there's
repeat
2.
the question. I was staring at you when you asked.
Who hosted the first episode of Primetime Wrestling?
How many is there?
There's 2. I will tell
And
you, Jesse the Body Ventura is one of them.
Okay.
Oh, I think I know
Do I get
the
a hint on the other one?
I think I know the other one.
I can't give you a hint without giving it away.
Vince?
No, that is incorrect.
Did he have anything to do with wrestling business beforehand?
No.
I can see this guy. I can't.
That's why I said I can't give you a hint because it's going to give
I
it
know
away.
his name.
Do I get half a point?
No.
I can't get it. I
Can I
can
get a
see
full
him
8,
though.
7, 6, 5,
I can just see this
4,
guy.
3,
I gave you
2.
half the answer, man.
1. The answer was Jack Reynolds and Jesse the Body Ventura.
I have no idea who that is.
Who challenged Hulk Hogan for the WWE Championship on the first Saturday night's main event?
I thought these were like Attitude Era Ruthless
That's what they're
Aggression.
labeled as, but they're clearly not.
That's like, yeah.
Yeah, I was about
Calm
to say.
down with your attitude, all right?
No, I was just saying, like, I was expecting, like, late
What was the
90s.
question again?
Who challenged Hulk Hogan for the WWE Championship at the first Saturday night's main event? I'll give you your first hint. This individual is a Hall of Famer. He is also a second-generation superstar whose son is still an active...
Cowboy Bob Orton.
That is correct. Amen. Now, slowly croaching up. That was question number 10.
She's crouching. Hey, how do you crouch? How do you crouch exactly?
Let's just move on.
She'll smash your mouth.
That's what the viewer said.
Okay, here you go. Question number 11. What was the main event of the first episode of Monday Night Raw? Smokey Z.
Ladder match.
That is incorrect.
I think I've got one of them.
This.
35 seconds remaining.
That's 10 seconds. Give a hint.
That's one of these individuals is still an active performer who had a legendary undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Double K.
Taker Sean.
That is incorrect.
But it was half right.
Amen.
Which is what was the main event? Not
Right.
yours.
Taker Diesel?
That is also incorrect. It was The Undertaker and Damien Demento.
I've never gotten that.
I was guessing
Demento was the
match
Hall of
type.
Famer there that he was discussing that had the legendary streak.
Seth Rollins defeated John Cena for which WWE Championship at SummerSlam?
United States.
That is correct. Smokey Z gets on the board.
Okay, Smokey.
Damn, Smokey.
Damn.
How many questions are left?
There are only 3 questions remaining.
Here we go again.
So in order for
I have to
Smokey
get
Z, you need at least 1 more to stay in the game.
And 2 to
I have
1.
to get all 3 right.
You have to get all 3 right.
Warming up.
Who was the first member of the Heenan family? Double K.
Andre the Giant.
That is incorrect.
All right, then I know who it was then.
Oh, okay, here we go. Your hint, Amen.
Oh, that's right.
This individual once wrestled Andre the Giant and walked out in the middle of the match and told Vince that he couldn't continue because he was afraid Andre was going to kill him. Yes.
Oh,
You're the only one.
Well, technically, I can still answer.
But
Yes.
you could.
was it, Oh, I'm like 50-50, man.
Gotta
I
say
can't
one.
help you with
I
that.
know. Macho Man?
That is incorrect.
Was it Jake the Snake Roberts?
It was not. It was Big John Studd.
Oh, that wasn't the other
Yeah.
guy.
After I said Andre, I had to sit here in quiet. Just
Question number 14. How much money was on the line for the Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd Body Slam Challenge at WrestleMania 1?
$1,000.
That is incorrect. Amen.
10,000.
That is incorrect.
is there a hint? I haven't let go. Is there a hint that goes with this?
Not yet.
I'm just gonna hold this down.
No, you've already hit your button.
I didn't let it go.
It lit up.
Well, that's not my fault.
That's your fault because you pressed it.
Most things do when I touch them.
That's
Okay.
$20 seconds remaining.
$1 million.
That is incorrect. It was $15,000.
What a weird amount.
Amen. This is the final question.
Oh, that's right. There is one more.
This is question number 15.
Stop. I'm nervous.
Which former world champion was the first person to guest host Raw?
Oh, that's a good question.
Which world champion?
Which former world champion was
That
the
could
first
go all the way back to like the very first one. Or?
person to guest host Raw?
Oh, I think but I'm...
I will tell you that this superstar most recently performed at WrestleMania 35.
Which former champion? was
Former
the
world
first
champion.
guest?
25 seconds
He
remaining.
performed, or
He performed at WrestleMania 35. He was also a member of a stable that contained Ric Flair, Triple H, and Randy Orton. Double K.
Batista.
It was Batista. That is 5 points on the 15th question. Double K for the 8th week.
By a split second, man.
Oh,
Hey.
he's on my shirt.
It's on my shirt.
He's on my shirt.
Well, he's kind of on your shirt.
Why couldn't you have just said that, man? I would have been like, quicker.
But I have to give him his proper reward. Double K is now the 8-time Wrestle Rewind champion. The Intercontinental title will go home with him once again. Folks, as always, it has been a true pleasure for us to be able to sit here tonight and have this conversation with all of you. We appreciate you participating. I encourage all of you.
Would that make him an 8-time, or he's just a reigning champion?
Well, he's a reigning champion. That's true. It's not 8 times because you haven't lost it.
I
have.
No.
Yeah.
Once.
So you're only technically a 2-time champion.
But we do it every week.
So
but you don't
you
lose
don't
it every
vacate
week.
the title.
Why
every
do
week.
you get a vote?
I'm just saying. In order for you to be that many time
If
champion,
anybody
you have
should
to
be mad
lose
about
it
it, it should be
that
her.
many times.
It's a valid point.
Yeah, I should be mad about this.
It's a valid point.
But you're not.
What,
I'm not.
What, that I'm making?
Yes. So, anyways, folks, next
Technically,
week's
you're a 2-time
episode.
champion.
Just because you get pushed in every week like the fourth
I
lead
don't care. Just saying.
Next
doesn't give you room to talk right now.
next week's episode, folks, I do want to go ahead and tell you that next week's episode will not be a live episode, as myself and Smokey Z are going to be out of town on business. We will be back in town for the following week. So let's talk about briefly what the next 2 weeks are going to look like. Next week, we are going to air a special episode. It will air at 8:30 p.m. On Facebook Live as well as on our viewing, all of our podcast platforms. And next week's episode is going to be a little bit different. Again, we're trying to focus each episode so we don't kind of scatter all over the place, which we have a tendency to do anyways. But next week's episode is going to feature 3 very distinct points. We're going to talk about our Dream WrestleMania 35 or 36 card, who we think is going to be the Hall of Fame inductees next year. And then we're going to, each one of us, draft our Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. So that'll be on next week's episode, and we encourage all of you to tune in when that comes out live. The week after that, we will be doing a full preview of AEW's All Out. That episode, I'm actually going to take a side seat. Double K will move to the opposite side of the table. And A-Man will take the lead and host that episode.
Double K will only move if you can get him out of his seat.
So, anyways, that will be next 2 weeks from today for that episode, and then we'll have a review episode of AEW following that. And that's kind of where we are. It's what we've got coming up on the road. As always, folks, thanks again. We appreciate you taking the time to spend with us this evening and listen to us. And, as it closes out each week, I'm Tommy T.
Double K.
Smokey Z.
I almost said Smokey Z. Amen.
And A-Man is, as always, like I said, going to host 2 weeks from tonight. And, folks, we will see you next week live here at 8:30 p.m. for Wrestle Rewind. Done.